Oh, hi. We're live. Hi. This is Jenna.
And I'm Heather.
And this is Conspiracies Unlocked. And we are reviewing Britney Spears' book, The Woman in Me. And we are on to chapter 4. So it starts off with Britney Paris Hilton, who I love Paris Hilton. In quotes, so much of America dismissed her as a party girl, but I found her elegant. Same girl, same. Everyone thinks that she's a party girl. Everyone's like, oh, she's like this dumb blonde, but that's all her persona.
It's an act.
It's an act.
It's like Marilyn Monroe when Marilyn Monroe would put on Marilyn.
Yeah.
She wasn't.
Sorry, I'm just going to try to move this over just a tad.
I know, I keep moving.
Okay.
I feel like the whole thing is like.
I know. Like, okay, sorry for those who are dizzy.
If you feel like you're on a boat.
You're not. It's just us. We can pretend it's an earthquake. We are in California.
Yeah.
It was an earthquake.
Ah! Oh,
no. Yeah, just a total persona. But, so apparently Paris came over and helped Britney a lot when Britney felt like nobody else had been there to help her with anything. And, like, just to be there, like, emotionally and just, as a friend. And Britney didn't have any friends. So she would go out with Paris Hilton, and it was like during her party era, which is not as bad as the press said it was whatsoever, according to Britney.
They got drunk.
Yeah, and the kids were safe. So, like, the kids had a nanny. The kids were safe. So Britney went out, just like every other 20-something-year-old goes out. Like, and especially she was only 22, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
That's when you go out and you party. Like, when are you supposed to go party? In your 40s? I mean, you can still. But I'm just saying that, like, you are supposed, that is when you go and party.
Yeah,
like,
she was of legal age to drink. Her children were being cared for.
Could you imagine if the press followed me around during my party stages? Like, I would have been in rehab the first week. They would have locked me up and thrown away the key.
Probably most 20-something-year-olds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is insane. And they're just so scrutinized. Like, they're just so mean to her.
And the sad thing is that they were calling her really vulgar names, a slut. And they were saying that she's on drugs.
And she's a bad mom and just everything. When all she said that she ever did was Adderall and then alcohol. But then I'm like, what about the antidepressants that she'd been on since she was like 18? Because that can have adverse effects when you mix the two.
But she did say that Adderall was the only thing that would help her depression.
Oh.
And that she took Adderall for depression.
That's definitely not what it's.
But that's what helped her.
Yeah. She says she didn't have any interest in doing the hard drugs. And she didn't even like weed. And she said she did it a few times in like when she was in New York and stuff, but she just wasn't a fan of it. And I'm on board with that.
Yeah, and I do know that like a couple times that she had a concert that if they were smoking a lot of weed in the concert, she got like a contact high, and then she would have to get off the stage. You would have to stop everything because which I don't think is in the book.
I was gonna say it's not in the book. Yeah.
No, but she was afraid because I think it will get there in the book. But just as like a fan looking back, they were doing random drug tests on her. So she could see her kids and like to make sure she was okay.
So she didn't want to get the contact high.
She didn't want to get contact high because she was too afraid they wouldn't let her see her kids if she got contact high. So she was like always pissed when people would be smoking weed at her concerts. Like you're like obviously it would only affect it was people in the front like, near her or even backstage.
Yeah,
like maybe not even the fans, just people around her.
Yeah, you're like fucking up my chance to see my kid. Get the fuck away from me. Yeah. You came here to support me, to watch me, and you're fucking me. Like
it could have been like somebody backstage too, like a stage-hand or anybody.
Well, either way, they're all making money off of her.
Yeah.
No matter what, she's the show. She's She's the star of the night. Like, and you're there to like everybody there is there for Britney.
Yeah.
And you're gonna try to like fuck her, you know?
I don't think that they would think of it that way. But from her perspective, you're screwing me over. Like we can't have this. So yeah, that's like a little side note.
So there was a night when they had a beach house. They had rented a beach house or something, probably like an Airbnb. But back then they didn't have Airbnbs. You had to be like special to rent houses for the weekend.
Yeah.
And so her mom was with the kids, and she went out with Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton, and that was the night she got all drunk, and that's when all those pictures were taken. And she was wasted, and she came home, and her mom's yelling at her.
And her mom was taking care of the kids, right?
Yeah, but like her mom's yelling at her like she's like a kid, but she's not. And it's like, yeah, she's wasted, but she wasn't like on drugs, and she wasn't doing anything illegal. So.
And the other thing that really struck me on that one is when we go back to the beginning of the book. Yeah. When she was 13, remember her mom was making the special drinks.
Yeah, they would go to the beach and they would have fucking Mai Tais or whatever, or oh my gosh, the White Russian.
White Russian. Okay, Mom.
You're the one that got me into it. Like, what are you doing? Like,
it's like kind of hypocrite, right?
Super hypocrite. I have it here in my notes. Yeah. And her mom always made her feel bad and guilty. And this particular night was the big divide between her mom and her, and they've tried to like reconcile, but they never were able to get past the night. And Britney felt like she was never really worth much to her parents. And then this is where I have the parents seem to be complete hypocrites.
Yeah.
And even though like they already like they're going through a divorce, they already have gone through the divorce because her dad is fucking gambling alcoholic, and then to yell at her for drinking and it's such hypocritical. And then like, and even though all of this, her parents just held so much emotional power over her that she just couldn't escape it.
Yeah, that's the main thing is they had a lot of emotional power over her, almost like where even though she was an adult, she was still like a child. Mm-hmm. Even though like, okay, I'm a parent and I see my kids and they are teenagers. But sometimes when I talk about them, people will go, oh, how old are your kids? And I'm like, oh, 17, 15. Yeah. And they're like, oh. And they're probably thinking the way I'm talking about them, they're probably like 4 or 5. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, I just always, like, you know, they're your children, so you know.
Yeah.
But it's, for Britney, it was like, they not only maybe thought of her still like a little kid, but they treated her like that, to where Britney felt like she was so small and young.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't treat my children like they're so small and young. Maybe occasionally I'll be like, oh, sweetie, and they're like, oh, God, roll their eyes.
Yeah.
Like, bruh, you know, ugh. Okay, you know, but it's like another level where they're trying to control her so much.
So much so. Like, so much. Like, more than, obviously, what is healthy.
Very unhealthy. Yeah. Extremely unhealthy. And then for them, it's just like, I feel like it was just all monetary gain.
Of course.
You know, so.
And they just wanted to use her for monetary gain, and I'm sure we'll get more into that later.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that is the end of chapter 24. Please stay tuned, and we will be on to chapter 25. Bye.
Bye. Are you going to do it?
No, you do it.
Okay.